I would say it is quite hard to make a football engine. What do you think?
I would agree.
It's really hard. Don't do it.
FE is short for Football Engine, and it is a project that we have started in our company to provide 3D football in our games.
Well, my first reaction was that, that's not possible. That's a lot of work. It's too much work. Then we started making some small prototypes. We started with some experiments, and then one step by step, started to become possible.
It's a very challenging project, and not many studios worldwide cover such vast areas of engineering that have many problems that need to be solved in order to make a full product.
Football Engine is built on top of Unity.
Full-on 11 versus 11 simulation of football.
Football Engine is comprised of many different systems. Some of the most important ones are AI, the animation system, the physics system, and graphical system that displays everything. All of those systems need to work together for football to happen. The AI and the animation systems are the two most intertwined systems in the engine. Without them, we literally couldn't show you football at all. We modeled our players based on how things work in real life. So we have the AI, which is like a person's brain, and we have the animation system, which is like the person's body. And they need to work together to move the players, make them kick the ball, make them jump, make them do anything. The relationship itself is very complex because, as in real life, when the brain thinks of something, it takes quite a bit for the body to be able to react to it, so you can't do it instantly.
To be slightly more specific, every player on the pitch thinks for himself. So the AI considers a multitude of options and parameters and syncs with the animation system on finding out which option is exactly the best one. After a couple back and forth communications, the best option is found and then executed.
It is an effort that takes many people many years to make, and it requires various different specialties because of all of the different things that you need to make for it to work.
So just the idea of having 11 things on a pitch, playing something that looks like football, that in itself is extremely difficult. On top of that, you then have to be able to have that rule set be modified by game designers. That makes it even more complicated because you have to bend a lot of rules of football to get things to work in such a way that it feels like football, but it also works with that game side of things.
The entire undertaking of making Football Engine required us to work in a very close collaborative mode. With the fact that we had so many unknowns that we were facing and we had to try and go through them fairly quickly and demystify them and verify whether with working through them our strategy is being confirmed in terms of the direction that we're taking and how we wanted to approach building Football Engine. We often found ourselves in situations where we had to learn some new concepts fast. The team that we had, luckily, is a very talented group of people who could very easily switch contexts and jump into different domains and help each other that way. So this was, I think, crucial for the success of this type of project that we were working on.
There are only a couple of groups in the world that have successfully made a full 11 versus 11 football simulation that looks good. Anytime you manage to make something as big as that, that's special.
The Nordeus Football Engine is special because it was made to be mobile first.
What I think makes Football Engine special is the animation team, both halves of that, the engineering side of it and the content side of it. Making this stuff is really complicated, and they had to work really closely. Two totally different mindsets, two totally different disciplines. The way they cooperated and solved some really, really hard problems, that to me was the most special part of this.
We wanted it to be a full football simulation and not just something that fits only for top 11.
There are very few places in the world where you can actually work on things like this and on this level.
I still cannot believe that, in center of Belgrade, we are developing a sports game engine that millions of people are watching. So it's an amazing opportunity for everybody to join us and to help us to bring it to the next level.
The most challenging part working in FE is the fact that there are no cookbooks about how to create such an engine. There are no solutions, there are no third-party libraries, there are no sites that give you some hints how to do this or that. It's simply an uncharted territory, and you have to find your own solutions there.
We expected that the unexpected would be happening. We set ourselves in such a way that we were very well equipped to react fast, address things appropriately, and then move on, essentially, and continue with the next thing that we needed to focus on. We have to work very closely with the teams to understand the depth of the problem that they're facing and try and work with them to set the rhythm and the pace of the team in a way that still allows for some predictability in terms of when things should land, how they should land, while being prepared to adjust those trajectories in flight.
So the most challenging part of making Football Engine was making sure the players on the pitch do what they're supposed to. So in order to create high-quality simulation, we had to work really hard to make sure players on the pitch actually make moves that football fans all over the world approve and agree with.
We couldn't get a lot of things right on the first try.
We made Football Engine in multiple steps, multiple evolutionary steps. And the thing is that we have never made something like this before. So in the beginning, we didn't know how to do it. We had to crawl, walk, and then run, the same as our players did.
Yes, exactly.
This was all new for all of us, and we dived into it and had great support from our company.
Initially, we started with 12 to 14 people. Later, we grew to 25. We operated much like a startup. We had to focus quite a bit on how to approach a project of this type of complexity, where to start, what to focus on first. It was overall the right structure for the type of undertaking that we had to do at the phase that we were in.
They started working, and the first thing they worked on was just trying to get some sort of character running around. It started progressing and experimenting with different ways to get those players to move and interact with the football, to then try to move around as a team or a group of people playing football. It was really just figuring out what exactly is going to have to be done in order to actually make a football engine. That was multiple years of work.
It was very close to real football, but it was not there yet. And it was in the area that we call the uncanny valley. It's very close, very, very close, but it's still slightly off.